Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a very special, very biased opinions. Yes, it is time for the Carabao Cup final. Now, I must admit, this is a video I didn't necessarily want to do because I didn't think we would be able to do it enough time to warrant a full video on. So I was just going to squeeze it in at the start of our Premier League predictions. But Thomas Pickering begged and pleaded and wrote many letters to the local Lincolnshire politicians asking me to do this full video. So against my better judgment, I have relented, and I really hope he's got more to say than just a score prediction and, oh my God, isn't Jack Grealish really good? So, fingers crossed, everybody, because it's time for the League Cup final. It's Aston Villa versus Manchester City.
Aston Villa 0, Man City 3.
Oh, you fucking kidding me? You fucking... Is that all you got on it, really? I knew you would do this. I knew it. I knew you'd do it. That's why.
Right.
Don't worry, I've got loads of notes.
I have loads of notes. Shut up and listen.
This isn't the sort of notes, Tom, where I go into detail about South Korea women's football team in our Women's World Cup.
And I think if we proved anything, it's that when you go in depth on something, somebody just has to cut you off because the facts and figures you end up bringing in don't make sense to anybody. You're like going in depth to the backup right back for a team.
Yeah, I did a full in-depth story on Jack and the Beanstalk. And the first 300 pages were just on Jack haggling the cow for the beans.
Economics 101. Jack knew the salesman had to sell those beans. Right, let's get into this, okay? So we'll start with Aston Villa because they're the underdogs. They're 17th in the Premier League. They're 2 points above relegation right now. They played 27 games, scored 34 goals, conceded 52. So we go into this knowing they can see goals and don't score very often. On the back of that, they just lost 2-0 to Southampton. That's a pretty dire loss for them. Their manager came and said that players had literally played themselves out the squad. I don't think he actually named anyone, and I kept trying to find him specifically saying something, but there were no names done.
I don't think he was quite that silly to name names.
I mean, I would have. I coach at Oxford United, by the way. No, but this also comes on the heels of losing 2-1 to Bournemouth in a relegation crunch match and a loss to Spurs. And whilst losing to Spurs 3-2, there's no shame. It's 3 straight losses and a draw in their last 4 games in the Premier League. Their last win came against Leicester, which was on the 28th of January, so it's going to be over a calendar month since they have actually won a football match. Trezeguet got a late winner. How seriously Leicester took that match really can be up for debate at this point, as shown by the fact that a team 17th in the Premier League has just scraped into it. Jack Grealish, clearly their star man. We don't really have to go too far into it. He's got 7 goals, 6 assists, and he's also got 7 yellow cards, so he's up for the battle. He also can take a punch, and if you don't believe it, maybe Ian will link in a random fan running on the pitch and punching him in the back of the head last season in the Birmingham Villa match.
I don't know why I'm laughing. That is one of the worst things I've ever seen in football.
Jack Grealish is such a boy that post-match, Sky just kept trying to get him to talk about how disgusting that was, and he went, "No, I've just captained my boyhood club to beating our biggest rivals, and I scored the winning goal." And they kept going, "But how awful is it to get punched in the back of the head?" He goes, "I didn't actually know what happened. 1 minute I'm standing, the next minute someone's hit me in the head, but I just scored the winning goal while captaining my boyhood club to beating our nearest rivals." And I was like, "You've grown up. I like you." So I like Jack Grealish. Put him in the England squad. From there on in, there's not a lot going on in this team. Wesley, who's their second highest goal scorer with only 5, is out through injury. They really need Tyrone Mings and John McGinn to come into this match and play really good fucking football.
Is John McGinn out injured though, isn't he?
John McGinn is out. Christ. And here we have the failure of my notes. Okay,
is Rayner? They've signed Rayner, haven't they?
I thought he was on loan. I was going to bring him up.
Can he play in this? I don't know. I heard something today that said that they're going to play another keeper, which baffles me because Pepe Reina's head and shoulders the best goalie there now.
So from what I know, Reina is the starting goalkeeper, but when you actually look into the news on this match, very little coverage is being given to it. probably because it's Man City versus Aston Villa at the end of the day. And everyone has decided what the end result is going to be.
It's not surprising that it's an afterthought, because it's been an afterthought for a while, unfortunately. I mean, it's the first trophy silverware of the season. Yeah, it falls behind midweek Champions League games. It falls behind a round of Premier League fixtures. And basically, if you're not involved in it, people do treat it as an afterthought.
I think if we're being totally honest here, this is like a microcosm of what has happened to football and why football's in the state it's in. You either need to be, and we'll get into this in a second when I speak about the squad that City are probably going to bring in, but you either have such a ridiculous, over-talented squad that your entire reserve team are internationals playing at top level nations, or you're a small club that got a tiny bit lucky. But you being a small club still means that your revenue is 3 times that of a championship team, which is technically only 4 places below you. And that really is the chasm you're looking at in the League Cup. Like, it's just not that fair anymore. And it's the magic of the Cup. You can be like, oh, Villa are in it. Yeah, but
I think you've been a little bit hard. I think Villa have done really well to get to the final. I mean, like, you know, they
care, and they have to care about this. The mid-tier teams don't care.
Sure, but I mean, it's a
club to care. It's the little clubs have to put everything into this, but the little club is actually a huge club. Like Villa, historically, are a huge club, and financially are a very large club in Britain's second largest city.
But let's not talk about club and finances. Let's remember one other thing: how important it is for the fans.
Right,
fans care. It's a chance for your side to see it. You see your side at Wembley. It's a chance to kind of like have a bit of history. I know Birmingham City fans still say like they got relegated the year they beat Arsenal in the League Cup, but they wouldn't have changed that day at Wembley for anything. So it's still that opportunity that you don't get too often when you support a club like Villa, to go and see your side play in a major cup final. And they've beaten some good sides along the way. I mean, they beat Brighton, they beat Wolves. They got a bit lucky. They played a Liverpool kids side. They did. But they've also beaten Leicester over 2 legs, and that is a derby game, and I do think Leicester would have taken it seriously. And I think, you know, yeah, they haven't had a great league season, but this is something that if they can win this, it might reignite their whole season and be the catalyst to spur them on.
Could well be. I wonder what we said in Premier League predictions for their next match, though. Something tells me we both got them to lose.
Well, I don't think we've picked it yet, to be fair.
Good point. Anyway, look, out of the rest of this team, there's only 2 other players worth actually highlighting. Danny Drinkwater, who hasn't been the same since he left Leicester, obviously went to Chelsea. Now he's at Villa. Maybe this is the sort of match where he can show his actual class, and maybe this is a game where he can kind of step up and, you know, be their great center mid that can actually just keep the motor going all match. The other one is, assuming Reina starts, they actually look like they have a great goalkeeper who was good when he left, like Liverpool. So they've got a couple decent players. But then we move over to Man City.
Just before we move over to Man City, I'm just going to say, do you think Villa can win this game?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, but if you, how do you feel if they can? How do you feel they're going to beat City?
They're going to sit back and be incredibly compact. They're going to absorb pressure. They're going to hope to counterattack or win with a free kick or something. There's no way you can outpossess Man City. Like, even when Man City lose, they tend to lose with 73% possession.
I think also they'll hang their hat on the back of the fact that City have been fallible at the back all season and do give you a chance. And a lot of the times Villa have lost games. Sometimes they've been horrific this season. Let's not pick the bones out of that. But a lot of the times they've lost games is through stupid little errors, losing concentration, and throwing away leads. So
I think in this game, right? So if we just quickly move into Man City, because the whole point of talking about the 2 teams is then to look at the match itself.
Okay.
They haven't lost to Villa since 2013. They come in having just beaten Leicester. It wasn't the most performing result, but it's pretty good for them. They're going to be playing Real Madrid tonight, so neither of us actually know what sort of European form they come in with. But assuming they're not battered like Chelsea were, we can assume they're coming in confident. They scored 68 times in the Premier League this season. The only thing going against them is that in 27 matches, they conceded 29. So they can ship a goal, they can even ship 2. The problem is, you and I have seen them in the League Cup now 2 straight years. Or was it FA Cup and League Cup? Doesn't matter. We've seen them in cup competitions, and they have a ridiculous array of attacking options and defensive options. Aguero is their top goal scorer with 16 this year, followed by Sterling and Jesus. Sterling is apparently recovered and may play against Real Madrid tonight. We could see all 3 play, but the odds are Jesus leads the line, and the other 2 aren't even in the squad. The team is ridiculous. Even if you take out De Bruyne, Aguero, Sterling, David Silva, and Ederson, you still have Mahrez, Rodri, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Mendy, and the ever great hope for England, Phil Foden. Man. Bravo, even this season, has looked like a more than capable goalkeeper despite high-profile gaffes. His high-profile gaffes are just bigger because they only ever seem to happen here in England. I can't see this City side losing, having seen them play cup matches now 2 straight years in a row against lesser opposition that were up for it. Like the Oxford match this year, feeling in the stadium, you kept thinking they can win this, they can win this. They can't win this because this City side is built to win trophies. It's built with this whole second 11 that are as good as the first 11. Like half the players I just listed as backups would start at Man United right now. They'd start anywhere probably outside of Liverpool. There's too much talent, and they have done this too consistently. And Guardiola, when he does get to cup finals, tends to win them.
Sure. I was going to say exactly the same thing, actually. I was going to say that regardless of how they get on against Real Madrid, there can be no question of Guardiola taking his foot off the gas or treating this game lightly, because he seems to just be so thorough in every single game that he plays. He seems to have done an attention to detail of that guy is absolutely astounding. And the only thing that just surprises me is just the fact that they didn't address the defence this season. But that's, we've talked about that enough. And so it's not going to even be a question of them taking Villa lightly in this game. Not at all.
No, I mean, we saw it against Oxford this year up close and personal, where in the first half they took the match by the throat. It was the second, and not that Oxford played badly, but it was the second half where Oxford managed to get a life hold in it because they're so good. Yeah. They're hitting 60-yard balls, and Mahrez is taking it down like it was played from a foot away from him. It's just...
Even when they're on the back foot, they're almost more dangerous when they're on the back foot in a game. It was like this Man City got 2 of the goals against Oxford when Oxford were feeling like they were on top of them. Yeah. And then it was just pass, and they ended up with Sterling having a tap in. It's
a bit like, do you remember when Rooney, Tevez, and Ronaldo played up front for Man United, and there was a goal they scored?
Oh, here we go.
No, but there's like... No, but they're defending a corner, and 4 passes later in 6 seconds, Ronaldo's got the ball in the back of the net. That's what it's like playing Man City.
I think you're thinking of Henry, Bergkamp, and Pires.
There we go. Why would you invoke that dumpster fire of a club in this conversation? What is wrong with you?
So Manchester City are going for 3 titles, 3 League Cups in a row. I'm not sure if that's ever been done before, but that is pretty impressive. Just to say, we did about Villa's path. Man City beat Preston, they beat Southampton, they beat Oxford United. And they beat Manchester United as well. So they've absolutely crushed both our dreams this year, Tom.
So they only played one real side, Oxford United, and the rest was just...
Although Man United did beat them in the second leg, and I think that's the first defeat they've had in like 3 years in this competition. What do you think the score's going to be?
I think it's going to be 3-0 to Man City. I don't see... It's not that I don't see Villa able to overcome something, but having seen City live against lesser opposition and in a cup, they take it really seriously. Mm-hmm. I've never, you wouldn't expect a club like them to put Riyad Mahrez out on the Kazan Stadium right wing and expect him to try, but they all go all out, and at the end of the day, it's a cup final.
Yep. And just to let you know, Tom, this is going to count towards our Premier League predictions for this week. So you still going to stick with 3-0?
Yeah.
Okay. I think Villa are going to score. And I think that Villa are going to score first in this game. Let's go for a bit of drama. I think Villa are going to score first in this game, but I do think Man City are going to come back to win it. I think it's going to be Aston Villa 1, Manchester City 3.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Villa fans, unless Jack Grealish has a Pele or Maradona style game, I do not see you winning it.
That being said, you came here looking for detailed football analysis. You just got roughly 20 minutes of it.
Yeah, I was going to say you might be in the right place today, but usually you're very much in the wrong place.